Welcome back to another episode of the What We're Watching podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jeni, and today we're talking about A Cinderella Story.
I loved watching this movie again. What did you think?
It was so much fun to watch it. I don't think I've watched it since I was a kid.
Same, and I thought that it was going to feel really young and like really Disney Channel original movie. No, I loved it. I thought it was so good. I can't believe I haven't seen it like since high school.
I have like some major qualms with it that we'll definitely get into. To me, it did feel a little kiddie, but I loved it. I had a good time. Definitely worth the rewatch for sure.
I just love Hilary Duff. I love watching her.
Why was she so cool? Like everything she wore, her hair. She actually kind of reminds me of Lindsay Lohan at that time too.
Definitely.
Like they kind of had the same style and the same haircut.
Similar look, similar time period, yeah. Before we get into the episode, we just have a quick update on our February review challenge. Thank you guys so much for leaving us so many written reviews on the Apple Podcast app. It really means a lot.
We have a review from Sarah Bell 95 that says, "Since finding this podcast a few months ago, I've been listening nonstop. I love all the fun insights into so many of my fave movies and TV shows. I look forward to listening every Wednesday and love all the nostalgia from the recaps. Yay."
Yay, thank you. Okay, so the movie that we picked for you is called Maid of Honor. It's from 2008, so it has those good, like, 2000s, almost 2010s nostalgic vibes, so I think you'll like it. And again, we're trying to pick movies that you guys maybe haven't seen or you haven't seen in a while. And this one stars Patrick Dempsey, Michelle Monaghan, and Kevin McKidd, who, if you watched Grey's Anatomy, he plays Owen Hunt. He's like the red-haired doctor. I'll read the logline. Always shy of commitment, Tom, played by Patrick Dempsey, lives as a serial dater. Hannah, Michelle Monaghan, his best friend, has wanted to marry and now has found Mr. Right, just as Tom realizes he really loves Hannah. When she asks him to be in her bridal party, Tom seizes the opportunity to prevent the nuptials and woo her himself. Anyway, it's such a cute movie. I think you can stream it on Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, cool. Well, I hope you enjoy it, Sarah Bell. Thanks so much for the review. And thank you everyone who left us a review during our review challenge in the month of February. It was so much fun. We hope you enjoyed. Now let's get back to the episode.
So the logline for this movie is, routinely exploited by her wicked stepmother, the downtrodden Sam Montgomery is excited about the prospect of meeting her internet beau at the school's Halloween dance.
Why did I not remember this was a Halloween movie?
I had no idea. I honestly completely forgot the plot of the entire movie.
Me too.
The whole thing. I remembered that Hilary Duff was in it. I remembered Jennifer Coolidge was in it. That's all.
I didn't even remember Jennifer Coolidge was in it until you told me, and then I was so excited.
Yeah.
This movie was written by Lee Dunlap in 1999, and studios all passed on it until 2004. And then it was given to the director who had worked on some episodes of Lizzie McGuire. And so he gave the script to Hilary, and I guess she and her mom loved it, which is just so cute to me when I think about that. And since she was this huge teen star at the time, and she was attached to it now, they sent the script to all the same studios that had rejected it in 1999, and there was a bidding war, which we've talked about before, I think, but that's when all of the studios are trying to get the script. And then Warner Brothers got it, and it started production within 2 months, and here we are.
Wow. I don't think I realized that Warner Brothers did this. I thought it was Disney.
I thought so too, because I thought it was on Disney Plus, but I don't think I watched it on Disney Plus. I think I had to rent it. I will note that I found a random interview of the screenwriter, Lee Dunlap, on a podcast called Sequel Rights, and so a lot of the facts that are about her and the writing process are from that podcast, so you should check it out. It's a really interesting interview.
Cool.
She said that it was a very sad process for her because the studio hired 1 million screenwriters to rewrite the film. And she said, "It's no fun to see what you've written destroyed, and there's no one involved who thinks the finished script was better than the original." Ooh.
That's sad. Also harsh.
I know. She said, but that's what the studio wanted, and they ended up with a huge hit, so you can't fault that. Apparently, her name was also spelled wrong in the credits at the premiere,
Aww.
and her friends and family were there watching it.
That's so sad.
I know, and they had to pay her for it and change it for the DVD version.
Good.
But on a positive note, she now meets with executives who are probably our age or a little bit older, who watched the movie as a kid and loved it.
Aww, that makes me happy.
Yeah, so when she comes into meetings, they're like, oh my gosh, I love that movie, which is just great.
That makes me happy for her.
Also, did you see that A Cinderella Story has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes?
All the movies we love, I feel like, are just trashed on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's unfortunate, but it's
tragic.
100% in our hearts.
Yeah. Okay, should we talk about the cast? Starting with the Miss Hilary Duff.
Yes, she plays Sam, and she was only 15 while filming this movie.
Young. So she was younger than the character.
Yeah, how old was the character?
She was technically graduating early from high school, so she must have been 17?
To me, she looked like she was at least 17.
Agreed.
And she had a crush on Chad Michael Murray while filming.
How could you not? I feel like we all had crushes on Chad Michael Murray at this time.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. She said, I definitely had a crush on him. We had a few kissing scenes in the movie, and I remember feeling pretty nervous about that. But then we became friends, and I wasn't so nervous anymore.
Oh, I did think that in the kissing scene, I just thought, wow, I wonder if this was awkward because these were just like two little teenagers making out on like this big set with a ton of people.
Did you know how old he was, though?
No.
22.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah, he was 22 and she was 15, which I hate.
I don't like that.
I hate that. And did you know about her very public feud with Lindsay Lohan? Do you remember this?
No, I don't remember this at all. Okay, tell me.
Okay, it's been a long time since I've really looked into it, but it was over her dating Aaron Carter, I think. I don't even remember Lindsay liking or dating Aaron Carter, but I do remember Hilary Duff dating him. This movie, A Cinderella Story, pissed Lindsay Lohan off, and Hilary said, quote, she got pissed off because I worked with Chad Michael Murray on Cinderella after she had worked with him on Freaky Friday, and she called him up and said all these awful things about me, which she then repeated to the press. So there was all this drama.
Wow.
And then Lindsay Lohan was reportedly banned from coming to the movie premiere. And in Lee Dunlap's interview on the Sequel Rights podcast, she said that Lindsay crashed the premiere party to mess with Hilary and was kicked out.
Rude. Oh, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth about Lindsay Lohan.
I one time watched an hour-long YouTube video dissertation on the feud between them, and it was very fascinating. So maybe we'll have to dig that up.
Interesting. Okay, should we talk about Chad Michael Murray, a.k.a. Austin, a.k.a. what is his actual name?
His name is just Chad, which I always forget.
Oh my gosh, I just got a flash of the Pete Davidson SNL skit. Isn't he Chad in that skit where he wants to go with the mom?
Is he Chad when he like doesn't say anything? He's always like, cool.
Yes, I think so.
That's so funny. I can't remember what episode it was, but we did mention in a past episode that he goes by Chad Michael because to join the Actors Guild or something, Chad Murray was already taken by someone else. So he's Chad Michael Murray, and then people started calling him Chad Michael. I think after he did Gilmore Girls, he was Chad Michael Murray in the credits, and then everyone just ran with that.
People do be changing their name when they join SAG or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about Emma Stone doing that too.
And Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah. That's so weird to me.
If any actors are listening to this and you're part of SAG or whatever it is where you have to declare your name and you can't have the same name as someone else, message us on Instagram at While We're Watching Pod. I would love to know what that process is so that we don't keep butchering the facts of this.
Yeah, please. Megan, this is going to blow your mind, but somebody almost played Austin in this movie instead of Chad Michael Murray. You're not going to believe me.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Okay.
Rupert Grint.
No. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Can you imagine? What was this, like the time of the fourth Harry Potter movie or something? The third?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can't imagine. Like the last person on Earth, I thought you were about to say.
Yeah, and if anyone doesn't know Rupert Grint for some reason, he is Ron Weasley in Harry Potter. I cannot imagine this movie with him in it.
No. Like Ron is cute.
I love him.
Love him. But no. No, not for this. This would have been so
Not
weird.
with Hilary Duff. That's a weird combo.
Wow. I'm going to think about that for a while. Shout out to sweet Jennifer Coolidge, who's the stepmom in this. I feel like we end up mentioning her in a bunch because we love White Lotus and we talked about Legally Blonde. And she's just wonderful. I don't know that we even really have a lot to say, just that we love her.
She probably made this movie for me, to be honest. And then we have Regina King, who plays Rhonda.
Love her as well. She's been in so much.
Did you recognize her from stuff? Because I didn't know that she was in so much.
Oh, I mostly recognized her from Legally Blonde. I guess that would have been 2, which you haven't seen, right?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Okay, yeah. Legally Blonde 2, and then I feel like she was in Miss Congeniality, maybe. I think she's the bodyguard. Is that right?
I think she's in the second one, and I don't think I've seen the second one either.
Okay.
I don't see the second one of these movies. She's an actress and director. She also acted in The Boondocks. I think that's what she's really known for, because she's the main character in The Boondocks. Also Jerry Maguire, which I think your husband, Brian, really likes.
Loves.
If Beale Street Could Talk. And she's also a director, which I didn't know. She's directed episodes of The Good Doctor, Insecure, Shameless, This Is Us, and the movie One Night in Miami.
Wow. I liked One Night in Miami. That's a really good movie. I did not realize that she directed that. That's very cool.
She's almost an EGOT, which I think we've said for a few episodes now, but that's someone who's won an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony. She just doesn't have the Tony.
Wow.
So she's an ego.
She's an ego. I hope she gets the T.
Me too. And even though she's an Oscar winner for another role, she often gets asked if she's Rhonda. People remember her from A Cinderella Story.
Aww.
And she used to be like, who's Rhonda? Because she said she forgets her characters' names. And I love that.
Oh, I love that. I feel like this movie is really like a closet favorite, or like something that people don't even realize was one of their favorite movies until it gets brought up. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, I love that movie so much. It's one of my favorites. And they remember, characters like that.
Yeah, I didn't even remember how much I liked this movie or how much I had even seen it as a kid until I remembered certain quotes as they came up. And I was like, oh, I guess I did watch this a lot as a kid.
Same. Once it started, I was like, oh, I remember the entire plot and all the characters. But before that, I could not have told you.
Should we get into the movie?
Let's do it. So when the movie opens, we see young Sam growing up with her dad, who she says is her best friend, and their relationship is adorable. I love the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
When it was clicking to me, the plot, like I was remembering what was going to happen, I was just like devastated. My heart was ripped out.
Yeah.
So we find out that her dad owns a diner in the San Fernando Valley. It's called Hal's Diner. Everyone who works at Hal's Diner feels like family. Like you can tell they're so familial with each other and everybody gets along really well. It's really sweet. And then we find out that her father remarries and he gets married to a woman named Fiona, who is played by Jennifer Coolidge. And Fiona has 2 daughters, Brianna and Gabriella. And during the wedding family photo, Sam bends over to grab something and the photo gets taken without her in it. And Fiona tells the photographer, oh, one shot's enough. So this is where we get the first inkling of Fiona as like the quote, evil stepmother.
One night while her father is reading her a bedtime story, Sam asks him what his dream is, and he says it's for her to go to college. I love this part. She asks where princesses go to college, and he gets kind of stumped, like you do when a kid asks you a weird question. And he's like, they go where princes go. They go to Princeton.
Yeah. I loved that he got to Princeton because I thought that was very adorable. We didn't need they go wherever the princes go, but I did love the creativity of they go to Princeton.
Exactly.
And so one night there's an earthquake. It's the Northridge earthquake. And her dad in the middle of the earthquake is running out of the house with Sam and then doubles back to go help Fiona. And we find out that in this process, he dies, which is so sad.
Yeah, there's a close-up scene of their hands separating. And it's just, you'll probably remember that one.
Lots of slow-mo moments throughout this movie, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, also a traumatic scene as a kid to watch this. The screenwriter actually lost her house in this earthquake, which, a lot of times we hear people talk about how you write from life. Her neighbor actually died in the earthquake.
Wow.
So it was a traumatic experience for her. But this part is kind of interesting to me. On a very less serious note, in the original script, she said that the dad actually had a different death. And it was supposed to be funny, but Warner Brothers obviously didn't like that. And she said the script was actually originally kind of strange like that, but it got beaten out of the story to make it more family friendly.
Interesting. Like it was originally more quirky and like maybe had a dark sense of humor. Interesting.
Which, like, I feel like you can kind of see in some of the Jennifer Coolidge scenes and her quotes. So I could kind of see that.
Yeah. So then we flash forward to 8 years later, and Sam is awoken in her bedroom by Fiona yelling for her to bring her breakfast. This is very Harry Potter coded to me, like first Harry Potter movie.
You're right.
And so Sam does it. She brings her breakfast by the pool, and we see her stepsisters taking a synchronized swimming lesson. And I remember this scene being hilarious as a kid, like watching the girls try to synchronize swim and just being so bad at it.
Yeah. There's this quote where Fiona says, "Is this the Norwegian salmon I asked for? I need my omega-3s. You know it costs a fortune to fly that stuff in from Norwegia." And the salmon thing is a theme throughout. This woman loves her salmon.
Mm-hmm.
She's on a salmon diet. Then Fiona tells Sam to get to work. And when Sam says she has a test to study for, Fiona says, "People go to school to get a job. You already have a job. It's like skipping a step," which is sad.
I roll. And then Sam tries to turn off the sprinklers in their yard because they're in a drought, which is important. But Fiona says, quote, "Droughts are for poor people." I just can't with her.
Her quotes are amazing. She has the best lines in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Here for Jennifer Coolidge, honestly. So Sam goes to work at the diner, which has been renamed Fiona's Diner. And now they're serving a ton of salmon dishes, like salmon waffles. And everything's pink. And they're on roller skates in like 50s outfits. And it's just not the same vibe as Hal's Diner. And then Sam's manager, Rhonda, is upset that she's working instead of at school and tells her to go get to school, which we love. We love Rhonda, the mom figure in this movie.
Mm-hmm. I forgot how much I really love her, but she makes the movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
So on her way to school, Sam picks up her friend Carter, who is this kind of like nerdy guy, and he's wearing this bright red rapper outfit with chains, and he calls it his Snoop Dizzle look. But then we find out that he's actually a theater kid, and he has an audition later, and he's doing method acting for that. And Sam also makes him change before she takes him to school because she's like, I'm not dealing with this.
I loved what the screenwriter had to say about this. She said that something else that got beaten out of the script was that Carter had 2 dads, and that was really important, I guess, to his original character arc. And his dads had dad number 1 and dad number 2 license plates. And they actually did keep the My Dad 1 license plate. Like, we see his dad's car in this scene, and that's the license plate. So the screenwriter said the production designers just must not have gotten the memo that was changed.
I'm sad that was changed. I think that would have been a really cool add to the movie.
I know. We can still pretend, since his dad did have a My Dad 1 license plate, that he did have a My Dad 2 as well.
True.
And that dad just doesn't let him drive his car. I don't know.
So then at school, we meet the popular girls, led by Shelby Cummings, who is played by Julie Gonzalo, who's in Freaky Friday with Chad Michael Murray. And the popular girls steal Sam's parking spot. Boo. I hated this. I thought they were being so rude. And then the popular boys snag another available parking spot, and this is where we see Austin, played by Chad Michael Murray for the first time, and he gets out of the car. And this is where we find out that Shelby and Austin are a couple. And Sam and Carter get bullied by the popular kids, including Shelby, but you can tell Austin is kind of hesitant to make fun of them with everybody else.
And then Sam gets a text message at school, and she gets all giddy, and Carter calls it her secret admirer. Sam and this secret admirer text about their teacher, and she looks around campus at everyone who's on their phone to see who it might be, because obviously it's somebody who goes to their school. And then when she gets up to go to class, we see that the secret admirer is Austin. And then we see them messaging throughout the day. I was actually kind of confused because throughout the movie, they say that they're emailing, but then it looked like they were on AIM to me, that they were like instant messaging.
Yeah, me too.
So they're messaging and texting throughout the day, but they both don't know who each other is. And they apparently met in a Princeton chat room. And he says his dad doesn't know that he wants to go to Princeton and be a writer. And he asks her to meet him at the Halloween dance at 11 o'clock on the middle of the dance floor. And then she'll finally meet him in person. I thought this was interesting. Her screen name ends with the number 818, which is the area code for the San Fernando Valley where the movie is set. And then his ends in 609, which is the area code for Princeton.
That's cute. I like that detail. That's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So then we see Sam practicing baseball with Carter, which is something she used to do with her dad. And Fiona interrupts them to tell her to pick up more salmon and wash the jag. And Carter asks why she does everything Fiona wants to, and she says it's the only way she'll get the money for Princeton. So we can tell Sam feels like beholden to Fiona because of this money thing, and like she feels like she has to do everything that Fiona says. So before they leave, Sam gets one more baseball and she imagines it's Fiona's face. And she knocks it out of the field and it lands where Austin is throwing a football with his friend. And we see that he's talking to his friend and saying that he doesn't know if he's going to go to the dance with Shelby, which we know is because he's just asked his secret admirer, texter girl, to go with him. And then he throws the baseball back to Sam. So they're having these interactions without really knowing that the other is the person that they're messaging.
And then we see Austin working at his dad's car wash. And his dad tells him he found the college brochures in his room and that he needs to stick to the plan, play football at USC, and then come back to run the family business. And you can tell he just doesn't want to do that. We already know he wants to go to Princeton and be a writer. And I guess Chad Michael Murray is the one who suggested that there be conflict with his dad in this movie because I guess he didn't have much of a character arc in the original script.
I love that. I thought it was a really nice ad, and it made Austin's character feel like he had a reason to like be so kind of angsty and secretive about what he really wanted. I thought it really rounded out his character well.
Yeah, so go Chad.
So then we see Sam bringing the car, the Jag, that Fiona told her to take to wash, into the car wash, and Austin tells her she needs a wax on it. And when she says, "Excuse me," he says, "I meant the car."
And then the stepsisters, Brianna and Gabriella, show up with 2 dirty VW bugs for Austin to clean. And Sam's like, "Who did you pay to get your car so dirty?" And Gabriella says, "Who are you, the dirt police?" This whole time, they just have like the funniest quips to me because they're kind of, I don't know, they're just like the silly stepsisters. They're terrible, but funny.
They're so all over the place. Like everything they say is just like wild.
And everything they do, too. They're bringing these dirty cars that they dirtied on purpose just to talk to Austin.
Yeah. Which I appreciated that they were building Austin up to be this like super hot guy that everybody wants.
True. Yeah.
By using the sisters in that way. I thought that was nice.
The only thing that didn't make sense to me was there's no way you can convince me that Hilary Duff is plain and that no one would notice her.
Agreed.
That's what I don't understand. But anyway, the stepsisters tell Sam that their mom wants her. And so she leaves.
And then the next scene is iconic. I'm sure it's one that all of you guys will remember. And it's where when Sam gets home, Fiona's in a tanning bed. And she opens the tanning bed when Sam gets home and stands up and she's definitely naked. And she has these bright red tanning goggles on. And she tells Sam that she needs to work tonight instead of going to the Halloween dance. And obviously Sam is upset because she's arguing back that she's a straight A student. She never asks for anything. And she just wants this one thing. She just wants to go to the dance. And Fiona says, "Now that you're old enough, there's something I've always wanted to tell you. You're not very pretty and you're not very bright." I'm so glad we had that talk. Hate.
That is probably the quote that I remember most from this whole entire movie.
Yeah.
So Sam leaves upset and Fiona accidentally burns herself on the tanning bed. And then at the diner, Fiona tells Sam that she'll be going to pick up the stepsisters from the dance that night and will be home by midnight. And Rhonda and Fiona have an argument at the diner over Rhonda not wearing her roller skates. And there's also this racist comment from Fiona that we don't have to repeat. But I do want to note that there are like a bunch of microaggressions throughout this movie that did not age well towards Rhonda. And then we find out that if Fiona fired Rhonda, then the customers would leave. And Fiona, again, has like another really funny quote. She's like, "I'm a very appealing person."
Yeah. But she doesn't fire Rhonda. So it's like she knows that Rhonda's telling the truth.
Yeah.
That everyone is there because they love her and the staff and Sam, not because of Fiona. It's because they loved going to house and everybody, all the like employees stayed the same. So Fiona doesn't. So then Sam, when she's at work that day, has to cover the booth that the popular kids are at, including Austin. This would be my worst nightmare, by the way. And then as she's waiting on them, Shelby and the other popular kids are very rude to her. And Austin breaks up with Shelby at the table in front of all their friends. And when Shelby asks if he's in love with somebody else, he says, "I think so." Which, the audacity of this boy. I respect it because Shelby is so rude in this movie. But like, wow.
In front of all your friends.
I know. I mean, to be fair, he asked to talk to her separately. And then she says, "Whatever you want to say to me, you can say in front of my girls." Which why would you ever say that if you think it's serious? But I don't know. So anyway, when they ask who he has these feelings for, he says he doesn't know. And Shelby says she's going to overlook this mental breakdown and she'll see him at the dance. And then they all leave the diner.
Respect for Shelby, honestly.
Truly. Yeah, like whatever's happening, I'm going to pretend it's not happening.
He tried to break up with her and she just told him no.
Yeah.
So Carter comes to pick Sam up for the dance dressed as Zorro, and Sam says she's not going. But Carter and Rhonda convince her to go so that she can meet her secret admirer, and they help her find a costume last minute. Rhonda is like her fairy godmother in this retelling, so Rhonda finds her a masquerade mask and lets her wear her old wedding dress, which is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's iconic. I'm sure you guys remember this look. It's like almost like lace mask, and then the dress is like the strapless ball gown. It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
At the dance, Austin is dressed as Prince Charming. Very convenient. And I think this is actually because he lost his Three Musketeers costume that he was supposed to be with his friends, which I'm like lolling about the idea of him asking this girl to meet him in the middle of the dance floor and he was going to show up dressed as a Three Musketeer. And Sam tells Carter that she has to leave before midnight in order to beat Fiona home, so they don't have a lot of time. The crowd stops when Sam walks down the stairs in her costume, and Shelby says, love her dress, hate her, even though nobody knows who she is.
And then she's standing in the middle of the dance floor waiting for Austin, and remember, she doesn't know what he looks like. And this nerdy kid named Terry comes up. He's played by Simon Helberg from The Big Bang Theory. And he meets her in the middle of the dance floor and says that fate has brought them here. And so she asks if he's Nomad, which is part of Austin's screen name. And Terry says, indeed, I've traveled through time and space to find you. Now join me in the mating dance of Zion. He goes off to get her a drink, and she says, I knew this was too good to be true. And so she fully thinks this is the guy that she's been flirting with.
But then Austin comes up to her and says, Princeton girl, which is her screen name. And she's shocked. She's like so surprised that he's Nomad and immediately is like, this is a mistake. So we can tell that because Sam has seen him with all the popular kids, she like has this preconceived notion that he's a total douchebag. And then when she asks if he knows who she is, he doesn't know her name. Which this is the biggest shock to me throughout the entire movie is that nobody knows who this is.
This is my biggest qualm. She's not that different.
No, I went to a big high school and like I can't imagine some girl coming into the dance with a mask over her eyes, and because she just has something covering her eyes, which you can still see her eyes through, no one on earth knows who this is. Like that, it's so weird to me.
You can see everything else about her. You can see her hair color, you can see her eye color, you can see her teeth. Like, I'm very confused by the whole rest of the movie. This is a mystery, who she is.
Especially because the kids go to the diner, so they see her relatively often.
This is my biggest qualm. Like, I just don't understand. It's the only thing that just doesn't make any sense about this movie, but we'll overlook it because it's fun.
So when he's on the dance floor with her, he says, on September 7th, I wrote you, I live in a world full of people pretending to be something they're not, but when I talk to you, and then she finishes his sentence, I'm the guy I want to be. I thought this was cute. This was like his way to prove to her that he was really Nomad.
Mm-hmm.
And they go for a like nice little romantic walk outside while he's trying to figure out who she is.
Because it's so hard to tell who she is. And then Carter defends Shelby from a popular boy who's making these unwanted advances on her at the dance. And there's this whole fight scene, like he jumps from the second floor to the first floor. It's very cool. And he's in his Zorro element.
Mm-hmm. I completely had forgotten about the Carter-Shelby storyline of this, but I kind of love it.
Me too.
So then outside, Austin and Sam dance together to live music, which I'm like, where did this quartet come from? And why are they not inside for the dance?
Why are they only playing for two kids?
Yeah.
At the dance?
But he asks her if she believes in love at first sight, and she says, I'll let you know. And then he almost takes her mask off, but her alarm starts beeping for her curfew, and so she has to run away and go home.
And she runs through the party, and she finds Shelby and Carter making out after he saved her. And Shelby does not recognize him in his Zorro mask, because again, it just makes you a different person when just your eyes are covered. Sam makes him leave and drive her back to the diner. And while they're leaving, Prince Charming and Cinderella win Homecoming Prince and Princess. But Cinderella is running away, so she doesn't get her prize. And on her way out, she drops her phone instead of her slipper. We like what they did there. And Austin grabs it, but he can't find her, and she's already left.
And then outside the dance, we see Fiona picking up the stepsisters, and she asks them where their prizes are. And they said they didn't win, some other girl stole it from them. And Fiona says, I am very, very upset about this. And then the girls say, you don't look upset. And she says, the Botox, I can't show my emotion for another hour and a half. Which is not how Botox works, but I thought this was hilarious.
Yeah. And then Carter and Sam pass Fiona and the stepsisters in their car, and the stepsisters see her and try to convince Fiona that Sam is in that car. But when Fiona goes to look, Sam ducks down and hides. And so Fiona's like, that's ridiculous. Sam would never disobey me. And one of the stepsisters tells Fiona to speed up and accidentally gets her costumed foot stuck on the gas. And they just cause mayhem in the streets. It's hilarious.
It is hilarious. And so when they get to the diner, Fiona walks in and is immediately asking for Sam. And all the employees stall to try to cover her because they don't think that Sam's coming back. They just think she's out at the dance for the night or that she's late. And then Sam, out of nowhere, pops up in the kitchen saying orders up in her work uniform. And she's covered in flour. You can tell she's like smeared batter on her face or something. And Fiona says, something stinks around here and it's not the fish.
I love how we only quote Fiona.
I know.
She's so iconic.
She has the best quotes, like by far.
Truly. And then at school, Sam tells Carter she's never going to tell Austin who she is and is sure that he's forgotten by now. Because she's pretty sure that if he knows who she really is, he won't like her anymore. Which, like, I don't understand, but it's the casting. Hilary Duff is too perfect.
Agreed.
But anyway, throughout the school, Austin has hung up "Have you seen Cinderella" signs everywhere. So he is definitely not forgotten.
Doing the most.
Doing the most, truly.
And he tells his friends that he has to find her because she's real and she listens to him. And then he also says that he can't unlock her cell phone.
Then Sam tells Carter that the day he tells Shelby that it was him at the dance is the day she'll tell Austin. She and Austin lock eyes in the hallway for a second, and then he walks away, totally not recognizing her. Which is another one of my qualms, because I'm like, okay, let's just like look past the fact that you don't think, oh, there's a blonde girl with the same exact hair as the girl that I love, and like same eyes, whatever. The fact that he is not still attracted to her when he sees her, I just don't, it bothers me. I don't know.
No, me too. So then we see Shelby talking about her mystery man from the party with her friends. And Carter, because of what Sam said, how Sam said that she would tell Austin whenever he told Shelby, Carter walks right up to Shelby to tell her that he's Zorro. And she tells him that last night she had a cold, drank a whole bottle of NyQuil, and just wasn't herself. And this is just because she's finding out that it's actually Carter. She tells him that they are completely different classes of human and didn't have a connection like he thought. Sad.
So mean. And then Austin's friends line up a group of girls so he can find his Cinderella. And he does not want them to do this, but also no one is using their brains here either. None of these girls look anything like they're not the same height. They're not, I don't know. It bothers me.
Me too. Sometimes we just have to suspend reality.
Yeah. Okay.
So then back at home, Fiona's checking the mail and she gets Sam's acceptance to Princeton and she hides it from her, which is the meanest part of this whole movie, I think.
And Sam is about to tell Austin over instant message who she is, but then Brianna comes in and asks her where her report is, and then Fiona orders her downstairs. And so while Brianna is alone in Sam's room, she checks her computer and finds the messages, and then both stepsisters learn that Sam is Cinderella, and they are correct. They've been correct the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And then we find out that Austin gets into Princeton, but he hides it from his dad. And then the stepsisters show up at the car wash separately, each of them, because they want to tell Austin that they're Cinderella. And then as they pull up, they start fighting about it because they realize the other person is trying to do the same thing. And Austin's way of solving it isn't to look at them and be like, this is obviously not the person. He says, Cinderella dropped something on her way out of the dance. What was it? Neither of them can answer, so he knows it's not them, which is like a weird process of elimination instead of just being like, neither of you are blonde. And then they continue fighting through the car wash.
Then Austin comes into the diner on his own, and Sam asks his order, and he rants to her about his dad, still not recognizing her. And they have a moment where they talk about being worried people won't like you for who you are. And I do love this part because in person, they're able to have the same emotional, vulnerable connection that they are through instant message and text messaging. And so I just liked that. I feel like that should have been a clue to him that that was his Cinderella, but again, it wasn't. And then she starts to tell him who she is, but Fiona interrupts and yells at her.
Then the stepsisters tell Shelby that Sam invented Cinderella in order to steal Austin away from her, and they give her all of the printed out messages between them, which is just evil behavior.
And then Brianna gets the announcement girl to say, Cinderella, your prince wants to rendezvous with you at the pep rally. And Sam gets all excited. Then Sam tells Carter she's going to tell Austin after the pep rally.
And at the pep rally, Austin's dad tells him that if he plays well at the big game, his future is set at USC. And then Shelby, the stepsisters, and the cheerleaders perform a skit that turns out to be all about Cinderella and Austin and acting out their private messages. And they expose that Sam is Cinderella, and she runs home crying.
I feel like I didn't get this part fully. I understood why she was upset. I don't know if I understood why he was upset. Was he thinking that she was doing it for nefarious reasons?
I don't know. That's a good question. I just assumed he was upset because it was like Shelby, his ex-girlfriend, embarrassing him in front of everybody.
Okay. That could totally be it. And then Fiona forges a rejection letter from Princeton and gives it to Sam. So Sam is having the worst day in the whole world.
Kick her while she's down.
Seriously. And at the diner, Rhonda tells Sam that she has to have faith in herself. And one of Fiona's decorations in the diner falls off the wall, and it rips the ugly pink wallpaper and shows her dad's old wallpaper underneath with the quote that he always said to her, which is, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game.
I love that quote. That was like the biggest quote that I remembered from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so Fiona tells her to clean the pool, and she says no. And then she quits her job at the diner and says she's moving out. So it's like the pep talk from Rhonda and just remembering who she is and who her dad was, I think really just gave her a backbone. And Fiona laughs and asks where she'll live, and Rhonda steps up and says, with me. And then Rhonda also quits and says she only put up with Fiona all these years because of Sam. And then everybody else in the diner quits too, and all the customers leave, which is such a cool moment.
I felt really good about this scene.
Me too.
Very satisfying. And then that night before the game, Sam goes into the boys' locker room and confronts Austin, and she calls him a coward and a phony, and exactly who she thought he was. She says she can't wait for him because it's like waiting for rain in this drought, useless and disappointing. And originally, he was also supposed to call her out for thinking of him as a stereotype too, which the screenwriter was like, I think that's really important, that like they're both judging each other incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
But Warner Brothers wanted her character to be 100% good, so they decided to take that out.
Carter tells Sam that he's proud of her, and she compliments his outfit and asks what character he's being today, and he says, myself. And they both decide to go to the football game, which I think is the first one they've ever been to.
Mm-hmm. I love that part. And at the game, Shelby tells the cheerleaders that she and Austin are almost back together. Austin's dad tells him that everyone is counting on him, and the crowd chants for Austin during the game, and Sam has to leave because she just can't handle everyone cheering for him. And he sees her leaving, and he says, sorry, boys, and gets off the field, leaving in the middle of the game. And this is the part that I feel like is in every kid's movie, but his dad is like, you're throwing away your dream. And he goes, no, Dad, I'm throwing away yours.
And then he goes up to Sam in the bleachers as she's leaving and kisses her, and then it starts pouring rain.
Have you seen the memes of Taylor and Travis kissing after the game?
Yes, compared to this exact scene.
I love it. I feel like this is the most memorable scene of the whole movie.
Mm-hmm. I have to say, Brian came over when this was playing, and he goes, oh my gosh, this is about to be the part where they play that, what's that song? And he starts singing Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield. And he was like, this is the song, this is the movie that made that song famous. It is, I know it is. And I was like,
is it?
I guess maybe. No. The song is not in the movie. It is not what plays.
But he's so right, because it does say, feel the rain on your skin in Unwritten.
Context clues.
It's not in this movie?
No, it's not.
Wow, but that was a good poll for him.
I was a good guess, yeah.
That would be a good song for a rain scene.
Get out of here. I can't.
But this scene took place on the third day of filming, which is wild. We always talk about how we think it's wild when like the really intimate final scenes are filmed first. It's wild that the actors can just kind of jump to that place. And Hilary said that it was much better than her real first kiss, but like probably way more awkward because there were 270 people watching, crew and stuff like that. And we also shot it on the third day of filming. Out of those 3 days, I'd only worked with Chad one day, and we actually practiced a little bit.
Ooh, wow. I can't believe they did that on the third day, especially with their age gap.
Him being 22? No.
No.
No, sir.
No.
I don't like that.
I don't either. So then Sam packs up her old attic room and she finds the fairy tale book that her dad was reading to her before he died. And it contains her dad's will, which leaves everything to Sam. And we find out that Fiona knew about this the entire time because her signature is on it.
So Sam's stepsisters help her find her acceptance letter in the trash, and she transforms the diner back into her dad's place. And then Fiona has a deal with the DA that she'll work off her debt to society by working at the diner under Sam's new partner in business, Rhonda. Yay.
Yay. And then we see that Austin's dad had a change of heart, and now the car wash offers a 60% discount for Princeton alumni and reserves the right to discriminate against Harvard and Yale.
I loved that. That was actually one of my favorite, most satisfying parts of the movie, too, was like his dad flipping.
Me too.
Just to support him. That was nice. I don't think he had ever made it clear what he actually wanted to his dad. So I think his dad just truly thought that he wanted the same thing.
Yeah.
Then we see that Carter finally got his first acting gig and he filmed a commercial and all the girls are into it. And then we see Shelby try to get with him, but he brushes her off to be with the announcement girl, which I love.
I loved. And then Sam and Austin go to Princeton together and lived happily ever after. And she says, quote, "At least for now. Hey, I'm just a freshman."
Cute.
So cute.
And that was the end of the movie. I really liked watching it. It was so fun.
Me too.
A great way to end our February romance month.
I know.
Did you know that this movie has 5 standalone sequels?
No.
None of them star the original cast, but there are famous people in them as the leads, as the like Cinderella role.
I knew that there were other, quote, like Cinderella Story movies, but I didn't think they were connected to this in any way.
They're not in plot or cast or anything, but it's this similar kind of vibe where it's the retelling.
Yeah, same concept, totally.
And it's still technically considered a sequel. It's like a spinoff.
Yeah, it is like a spinoff, exactly.
And so the leads in those movies are Selena Gomez, Lucy Hale, Sophia Carson, Laura Marano, and Bailey Madison. And I just think that's wild. Those are all pretty famous people.
I know. I don't actually think I've seen all those.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them, but I don't think they will hold the same nostalgia as this one for me. So
no, this one was so good. I'm so happy we covered it. And like you said, I think it was the perfect way to end our month of romance in February. I hope you guys liked it.
Yeah, this was a really fun month. I think these were some of my favorite picks.
Me too.
You'll have to tell us which one was your favorite.
Yeah, and if you guys have any other like theme month ideas, we're all ears. Send them to us on Instagram.
Oh, also, I think we forgot to mention this movie was requested by you.
It was. I forgot about that. Yeah.
You know who you are, who requested it. So we take your suggestions and we use them. So keep sending them our way. We love your recommendations.
I know we have a couple more suggestions coming up. So yeah, if you guys have requests, send them our way.
Thanks for listening.
We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.